Yeah, this is Captain Anderson again. I'm the guy who put up those videos and gave you the straight dope about what was going on in the Gulf of Mexico. I told you some things about the oil spill that most people that aren't in the industry wouldn't know. I told you about viscosity. I told you about the what do you call it there, the dispersants, and I told you about the really unhealthy relationship which inadvertently occurs between regulatory agencies like Materials Management and the United States Coast Guard and the people they're supposed to regulate. Well, that's life. Let me tell you something. If we can solve all of the Gulf problems and all of business with BP, we still got a world of trouble. I'm now going to put up a series of videos, and I'm going to tell you some things about climate change, which I happen to know, which a lot of other people know, but they just don't want to talk about. But I've got nothing to hide. I don't belong to any organization. I don't owe an allegiance to anybody. I don't work for a big corporation. I don't care what they say. I don't have a board of directors. I think the American people need to know these facts. There'll be a bunch of these videos, and they're going to all be nothing but fact. Now, you can believe them, or you can start popping Oxycontin there with old Rush Limbaugh, and you can pretend that these aren't the facts and that the world is going to stay the way it is. Well, it's not. We're basically fucked. We are basically in a world of trouble. So today's fact is going to be the one that the scientific community does not want you to know about. I introduced this fact in the form of a question at an international conference at Columbia University a few weeks back. It was about 20 minutes before the lunch break, and they allowed the people in the audience to ask questions or make comments. I was the third one in line, and I mentioned this fact to him. The moderator was a nice guy, very knowledgeable from the BBC. He let me finish what I was saying, then he stood up straight, closed his notes, looked at the audience, and said, "We'll now break for lunch, and our first speaker after lunch will be yada yada." Well, he didn't even acknowledge that I existed. It was as if I wasn't even there. I mean, everybody was standing around me was flabbergasted. Here's the deal. There's a lot of discussion about going through hoops and changing our lifestyle and so on and so forth and slowing down climate change and even reversing it. Nonsense. Utterly impossible. It's a physical impossibility to stop climate change at this point. Whatever we have now, we can't get rid of it. And that's for the very simple fact that the half-life of carbon is at the bare minimum 100 years. Some carbon, like carbon-14, has a half-life of 5,743 years or something like that. But if it's got a half-life of 100 years, as far as human beings are concerned, the carbon is in the air forever. And guess what? We're putting more carbon in the air every single day. And carbon seems to be what's causing the planet to warm. And there's a it's almost identical correlation between the increase in carbon in the atmosphere and the ambient temperature of the planet. They're both going up in parallel. So this talk about slowing down climate change is out of the question. The more heat we trap in the atmosphere, thanks to the extra carbon, the more force we're going to have driving our weather patterns. Our weather patterns are going to become more and more severe. So we got a world of trouble. But unlike other people who know these facts and wring their hands, I'm telling you there's something that humanity can do. The government can't do it, corporations won't do it, and the big nonprofits are hogtied and they're in the big back pocket of their donors. So we, the people, all of us, need to join hands, not join hands across the sand. That isn't going to do any good. We need to join together in an organization called Planet Earthship. Register for Planet Earthship. Make your voice heard. When we get 1 million, when we get 10 million, when we get 100 million people, we won't listen to what the government says. We will tell the government what to do. So the webpage is on this site someplace. You can see it. You can click on it. You can go there. It doesn't cost you anything. Sign up, and we'll tell these SOBs that we want our planet back.